handheld devices. This thing was actually a lifesaver. So I was just on this crazy trip. I was in Computex in Taipei, 16.5-hour flight. After that, went back to Toronto. Next morning, went to Vegas, then San Francisco for WWDC. Been on the road for 2.5 weeks, just getting back in town. This is the MSI Claw. This is pretty much the main gaming rig that I brought with me. Obviously, gaming handhelds have become way more popular, and the fact that you're able to play some pretty decent like AAA titles on a device like this has been a lifesaver. Like 16-hour flight, that first one absolutely crushed me. I was rocking out on Hogwarts Legacy. I was watching content on this because it obviously has a larger display than my smartphone. I think these are perfect for travel as they easily fit into any sort of backpack. So the MSI Claw has been out now for a while. It's actually got this really great update. Some of the BIOS has been updated, so it's improved. I thought I would do a bit of a revisited review / my experience with it for the past couple weeks. It's kind of been my go-to handheld gaming device, and I've actually owned the ROG Ally before. It's been collecting dust, so a quick comparison between both. So I find that the MSI, it has a better grip and ergonomics to it. It has nice and chunkier backs. When you hold on to this and game for a longer period of time, it just feels more natural in the hand. They actually have different analog joysticks, with the Claw having Hall effect sticks. And I actually find on my Ally, I'm getting some really weird joystick drift, as well as I accidentally dropped a little bit of food, and I find that the movement on it is a bit off. These have been way better to use, and obviously since they're like the main points of input when you're gaming, obviously you can't have one that is broken. So second is the battery life. This is 53 watt hours. For the most part on that long plane ride, I was kind of plugged in. Obviously 16 hours is a long time to spend on a plane, but when I was unplugged, even when I took it to my hotel room, was playing, the jet lag was pretty real. I was able to play this, you know, in the middle of the night by my bed without having to charge it. So it lasted around an hour and a half when I was gaming, compared to the ROG Ally, which I found was like 40-ish, 45 minutes before I had to charge it. That battery life probably has to do with heat management. So the Claw has 2 heat pipes that increases cooling. It has 50% larger air vent sizes and reduces overall noise. The third thing, this being super subjective, it's honestly something as simple as the color. Like, I'm a big fan of the black. When you are traveling with something, obviously, you know, stuff picks up gunk, it dirties over time. I find that the black is just sleeker. It helps cover dirt a bit more. Obviously, I know that is a lot of personal preference, and something that hasn't happened to my Ally, but I've heard a lot of reports of the micro SD card slot, the overheating issues when you're increasing storage size. Once again, I've had no issues with my Claw. It's been, you know, perfectly fine every single day. And obviously one of the big differences internally wise, so the Claw is using the Intel Core. This one's got the Ultra 7, so it's the upgraded version. I found with that latest BIOS update, it's definitely running games at better frame rates. So like I said, Hogwarts Legacy, I was getting around 60 frames. I did have to tweak some of the graphic settings, but depending on what games you're getting, I'll kind of put a list up of the updated frames that most popular titles are getting now. So definitely, once again, better than day one or when this did come out. Simple 2D platformers, which honestly are a lot of fun to play. It's not as graphic intensive, and that's really where that extra battery life shines. Once again, easy to play when I was on a plane, when you're traveling, just when you've got those extra hours to burn and you want to, you know, crush some time. Another difference, not that I use it much when I was traveling, but now that I'm back here like in the studio, it has just a bit more versatility, as this does have a Thunderbolt 4 port. Just like most handhelds, they're typically rocking just a full operating system of Windows, but what I actually really like is this little button on the side, which is the MSI Center M. It essentially just gives a bit of a quick start launch to some of the favorite games that you're playing. It's just easy access, because most of the time when you power this on, you are rocking, you know, like I said, a game of your choice. You can quickly launch that and get into you know, Hogwarts Legacy. Let's go Team Ravenclaw. And lastly, which I think is overlooked sometimes, not every game that most people play are on Steam, on Ubisoft, all that sort of thing. This actually has the MSI app player, which you can launch just basic Android games. Like, I'm a big fan of Candy Crush, for example. I play that on my phone. I sometimes just, you know, play that on here instead. It's essentially a basic Android emulator. Nice to see that included. Once again, I haven't seen that across the rest of the space. But anyways, that's kind of my review, my revisited experience with the MSI Claw. Probably my go-to, like I said, gaming handheld console of choice. Let me know your thoughts if you kind of own one already, if you're in the market for a gaming handheld, and which one you would pick up. I'll catch the rest of you on one of my next ones. Peace!